How many of you that are close to my age, 60-ish, somewhere around there, have friends or people that you know fairly well that are between the ages of 20 and say 40? If you have none, this video is for you. I'd like to talk about something specific, and that is, how do you find the places and the events and the things and the activities where you can go, where you will be surrounded by more young people? If you don't have a job like I do, which is teaching, which I'll be done with in a couple of months, and I work at a camp in the summer, if you don't have a job like that where you're around kids and younger people, then it might be hard to put yourself in a situation where you're around younger people. I want to tell you some ideas on how to find things to do where you can meet people that are younger than you, and not to become friends forever, but just acquaintances maybe. Because the reality of it is, it's not about making friends that are young. It's about engaging with them, learning about them, and then that opens up ideas in your own head about things that you could be interested in, and also just makes you feel, a little bit more in tune with a different generation, and it makes you feel a little more alive, frankly. It's like if you're a grandfather and you have grandkids, they make you feel young because it reminds you of the days when you were young, or it reminds you when you were a parent, and there's a train, and that is loud. So a lot of the things that you can do to be around younger people are pretty simple stuff, pretty simple things. For example, I mentioned in my last video that I go to concerts. It is incredibly easy to search your area, find music, if that's an interest. If that's not an interest, perhaps a comedy show, a theater, a play, any type of sort of entertainment venue where you can go see something that the audience are mixed ages. So it's not just people that are your age, or it's not just people that are teenagers or 20-year-olds. It's people that sort of cover all of the age brackets, or most of them. And if you go to these events, for example, I go to concerts, and a lot of times there's multiple age levels there, and you just end up interacting. Sometimes you have something in common that you enjoy from wherever you are, whether it's an entertainment of some sort, perhaps it's a sporting event, and you might even strike up a conversation with somebody, and that can be kind of cool. If you do it enough, you may see the same people at these places or at these events, and eventually become sort of recognize them and realize that those are people that maybe you could get to know. That's a little extreme, obviously, but at least when you're going to these events, you're with people that are different in age. And, the more you can interact with them, the better. I think the better for both of you. I think both ages have something to offer. Also, you could try something like a sport, like skiing or pickleball or golf, or something where you, for example, if you go play golf, oftentimes you go by yourself, or you could go with a friend, but if you happen to go by yourself, you sometimes might be put together with you could be put together with anybody of any age. And sure, you might, maybe you're not as experienced, or maybe you are, but that round of golf with them could be very satisfying as far as getting to know someone who's younger and learning about how they think these days. Try volunteering somewhere where young people are, whether it's volunteering to help kids or teenagers or something like that. Try something that either you're working side by side with people that are younger than you, or you're working to help people that are younger. And that can be a lot of different places. You could work at a summer camp, you could work at a day camp, you could work after school as a coach of some sort. A lot of volunteer coaches that come to like kids leagues, in whatever league it is, basketball, baseball, football, lacrosse, tennis, whatever those sports are. a lot of times the parents come because their kids are on the team and they have no experience at all, but they coach. And so they're there to just sort of, relate to the kids and help out with, kid management. But it's not like you have to be an expert to volunteer to help out with these teams. And so, you can reach out to your local recreation department and find out, if they're taking volunteers for, help with soccer. And then all of a sudden you're with coaches that are probably 30, 25, 40, and you're with kids. So, that's a possibility. You could start doing things that kids do. I mean, I'm doing a YouTube channel and, this is fun. I mean, I'm not expecting it to become anything. I mean, if it does, I'll be pleasantly surprised. But, it's something I'm about to be retired, and I have something that I think is fun. And, I can learn how to do the editing and how to film and how to walk around with this thing and not feel too weird. But mostly it's that I have something to do and something that relates to younger people, because younger people go on YouTube. And, who knows, maybe you'll come up with something. And I've seen some YouTube channels where people are giving younger people advice. And that interaction alone for you could use whatever wise tales you have from the time that you've been alive and, maybe become someone who people want to get advice from and about those things. And so then you'd be interacting with young people as well. And, it's just kind of cool to be, being a YouTube guy or even Instagram. Instagram seems to be maybe even on the younger side. But, how many of you, if you're my age, how many of you have Instagram? I'm sure many of you do. I'm sure some of you don't. Some of you may still have Facebook. Maybe you have no social media. And I'm not saying you have to go get social media, but social media is something that can link you to younger people and help you reach out to them and just find out what they're doing. And, also ways to do those things yourself. So you get to these places where you have young people around you. How do you act? Because it can be kind of an interesting situation if you're put in a situation. Let's say you play pickleball or something like that, and you meet at your time, and let's say you have a 6 o'clock pickleball for an hour or so in the town, and you go there and let's say you played tennis, or you've never played pickleball, which is kind of what I did last year. And yes, there's a lot of people that were there that were my age. There's people that were older, and there were also people that were younger. And it depends, sometimes where you go, you might find that they're all younger. But when you get into those situations, I've found that don't try to show that you're really good at whatever it is they're doing because you think that will impress them. And that, I'm an old guy, but I can still do it. I mean, it's going to be very natural to feel that way. And I felt that way. And so, yeah, I like sports. So I kind of felt like, I can, show what I can do, But I think that's the wrong approach. I think the approach is to be, just be genuine and be friendly and spark conversation. What do you do? Find out what they're doing for a job. You can talk about what your job was. Try not to talk too much about your job, because for some reason I think people our age like to talk a lot about what the days used to be like, back in the day. And, young people, some like to hear that, and some aren't huge fans of that. So, and I think it's just read the moment, but there is a certain way to talk to younger people. But when you engage with them and you have something in common, and maybe they find out that you like some sort of music that they like, or maybe they find out that you're interested in a YouTube channel. I don't know how you would start that conversation, but when they start to see that you're okay, they love that. And I said that in my last video. You can get a lot from interactions with people that are younger than you. So lots of different ideas on what to do and how to get involved. But really it is a mindset. It's, don't be intimidated by younger people. Don't feel like you're above them. Just be friendly, and you'll find out that some of them want nothing to do with you, no matter how cool you are. But I think that the more that you expose yourself to those situations, the more you're going to feel like you've learned something from them and they've learned something from you. And then that just snowballs. Then you find out about, oh, let's pickleball in the summer. I can play with the same people. And oh, there's John, the guy, he's the 28-year-old kid who's, nice kid, and he wants to play with you and that kind of thing. And then through all these interactions, you might set up another thing where, oh, you go to something else that person you got to know suggested, and maybe you see him or her at that new event that you've gone to, or that. But I'm hoping that this gave you some ideas of how to get yourself out there to be around people, first of all, but also people that maybe aren't your age. Maybe they're a little bit younger. Hopefully, through that, you not only feel a little bit younger, but you also meet some friends and find things that are interesting to do that you never would have done before. And from there, the possibilities are pretty much endless. And you've got something to look forward to. And feeling, half your age. Anyway, that's all for now.